The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Ravens flock, it's funny how life works sometimes. I was just getting ready to upload a motivation type video, which I might still put the beginning part of it in this video, but the video was just going to be me basically saying that despite how alarming our loss to the Browns was, that all is not lost, and one or two moves before the trade deadline can change everything. And that's pretty much the summary of what I was going to say. I had several motivational points that I was gonna bring up, such as somebody like Kyle Hamilton obviously just had a very tough end to that game. Even though he was the only guy on our defense fighting, he had the game in his hands and he lost it. I was gonna bring up the fact that he's still one of the highest rated safeties in football. He's still one of the only guys on our defense fighting. And I was also going to even bring up Rashad Bateman and talk about the fact that despite that he had several bad drops in that game, when you look at his season in totality, he's still having a great year. He's on pace to put up between 800 and 1,000 yards, and that in itself is mind-blowing to even think about. We have two receivers right now who are on pace to hit 1,000 yards. Like, I was just still in general just gonna make the point that there was a lot to be excited about. And then right before I was about to upload it, news just broke saying that the Ravens and the Panthers have just finalized a trade that will be sending wide receiver Deontay Johnson to the Baltimore Ravens. The trade is set up to where the Ravens are sending a fifth rounder, and the Ravens are sending a 5th round pick, and in exchange, the Panthers will send Deontay Johnson and a 6th round pick. I think Adam Schefter said something along the lines of that might be a conditional trade or something like that. But either way, this was a trade that I didn't see coming. I know a lot of Ravens fans mentioned this guy, and we all as Ravens fans are familiar with this guy from his years playing with the Steelers. I still didn't see this coming, to be honest with you, especially because despite us kind of having a stinker last week when it comes to drop passes, our offense this year has been clicking. And when I made my Davante Adams video, I even said then, I was like, as much as I want Davante, I still think this could be a year where we could do it without somebody like that. So I was pleasantly surprised to see this move. Now, I'm not saying Deontay Johnson's at the level of Davante Adams. Obviously, he's not even close, but he's still a very solid addition to the wide receiver room. He's another elite route runner, so I'm very excited to see how this works out. I know some people may be nervous about what does this mean for the rest of our pass catchers. I don't think this is going to really affect our main pass catchers. And the people that I'm talking about is Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Those 4 people, I don't think this is going to affect them, to be honest with you. And even with Mark and Isaiah Likely, because of the way Todd's operating the offense right now, I kind of count them as just one tight end right now because they're splitting so many of those targets when it comes to our tight end room, them and Charlie Kolar. But those are our main pass catchers. I don't think this will affect them that much. I think this would more so affect people like Nelson Aguilar, Tylan Wallace, Charlie Kolar, and maybe even to an extent Justice Hill. This might take a few targets away from him, but I don't think it's going to take too much away from Justice. But those other guys I mentioned are the main ones I think could be affected by this. But nonetheless, I do think this is still a solid move. while this, I don't consider him a, somebody we would call like a true number one. He's still somebody who I would consider like a high level number two. He has a history of drop problems. We all know that, but there's still a lot to get excited about. He was balling with the Panthers, believe it or not, even though he has essentially no quarterback over there. He was still, well, maybe balling is a stretch, but he still was showing that he could be a very serviceable receiver. So I am excited about this news. Now the next question then becomes, are the Ravens going to make a splash move to acquire somebody on the defensive side of the ball? If we all know how the Ravens are, so I'm sure they have to be looking at somebody. I doubt that it's Max Crosby. I know so many Ravens fans would like for it to be Max Crosby, but I mean, I don't know if the Raiders are that stupid, but anything is possible if you offer them the right amount of draft picks. One of the reasons this is also exciting and encouraging is just because we finally get to see another scenario where EDC is actually willing to part ways with the draft pick, which was very exciting to see. So maybe we do pull it off. I know many Ravens fans have brought up certain names defensively, like Olajarvi, or I'm butchering his name, but I think it's Olajarvi on the New York Giants. Some people even proposed us taking a shot at getting Chase Young from the Saints. Some people even proposed maybe taking a shot at somebody like one of the guys on the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line. It's yet to be seen what we're gonna do on that side, but I would imagine they're gonna go for somebody. Like, I can't see them, now that they actually are making a splash move, I can't see them not trying to make another splash move in addition to that to match what the Chiefs are doing, because I do believe that the Chiefs signing, and I didn't do a video about this, but yesterday the Chiefs signed an edge rusher from the Patriots, and that obviously made EDC and the Ravens front office look even worse, because now you're putting us in a position where we're watching an undefeated team, a two-time champ, the reigning Super Bowl champions. We're watching them go out of their way to make moves to try to continue to bolster up that roster by adding a big body receiver in DeAndre Hopkins, and then adding another edge rusher on an already efficient defensive line with the Chiefs. And when I say efficient, I'm not saying they have like elite edge rushers, but we do know they do have somebody on the defensive line who is elite, who's Chris Jones, who we all know he's a D tackle, but he can line up anywhere pretty much. And even though he's not an edge rusher, his presence there still makes them elite by default. I don't know much about the pass rusher from the Patriots they got, but considering how much hype the move got, I'm assuming he's somebody who is going to be a solid contributor, especially with Chris Jones attracting so much attention. That would probably give him a lot of one-on-ones. We got to make a move similar to that. I'm very interested to see who do we end up reaching out to make that move. Like I said a second ago, many people have brought up certain players who might play for the Giants or the Saints, even the Jaguars. Maybe we look at somebody that is on like the Titans or the Jets. We got to kind of wait and see how that works out. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you excited about this signing, or do you think that we could have passed on Deontay Johnson? Where do you think he'll fit into this offense, and do you think that we still need to make more trades? And if you do think we need to make more trades, who else do you think would be best for us to get right now?